everybody. Now, actually, let me put my glasses on so I can see everybody. Oh, wait, we got rid of the touch screen part of this because I don't need it. And I need to get to the actual... No! This laptop is getting on my nerves. So is the cold. Yes, I am bundled up a bit because I'm cold. We don't have any heat yet. We'll get there. We'll get there. Oh, I used the picture of Jack. I don't know why I thought I used a picture of Aragorn. I used a picture of Jack for the sale. One-Eyed Jack says it's time for a live sale. There we go. Jack is seriously putting on some weight because he's outside all the time. And his fur, he's getting so thick. And there we go. Chat is up. Thank you all for coming. I see we have 4 in the house so far, but that's kind of a misnomer because I know one of them is me on the laptop. Now, I have to find a safe place. I ran out of time here. It's been a busy scalp day and running around day. No, not in that. Because this is what Val bought, and we're gonna wrap it up in cellophane, or not cellophane, saran wrap before I put it into, that thing is so heavy, before I put it in to ship it. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you right now, not a huge amount of stuff tonight. Fair amount of paper things. Some quite unusual little finds. But Gary's not been feeling well, and there's been a death among his friends, and so been helping him deal with that. He doesn't have that many friends left, and it's hit him kind of hard. Hello, Val. I just mentioned you because I have all your fabric here, and I need to wrap it up in saran wrap, and then I was gonna put it, wrap it up tight, put it in one bag, and then put it in another bag, but I think it may have to go in a box because I don't have shipping bags big enough. So, but tonight is a lot of littles and some paper things that are unusual, which come out. No, don't put the plastic bag against the space heater. So, but we're selling King Tut tonight even. You'll understand when we get there. Even King Tut is up for sale tonight. Oh my goodness. How is everyone doing with the weather in your area? A lot of areas are getting hit with cold or wet or some combination of them both. And in my area, the high tomorrow is supposed to be 47. And I still have not heard from Heap. Oh, it's chilly. It's chilly. So we started off with only a quarter of a tank. Hello, Lisa. How are you? Oh, my goodness. I have some interesting little minis. I'll show you one of them. Okay, so they're not complete sets of miniature, but they're so cute. I mean, he's riding a turtle. Turtle pulling a wagon. But I don't have like the full set of any of these. But I thought I'd bring a few of them along to see if anybody wanted to do them with crafting. Hello, Jen. How are you? How are you, darling? So I have started finding things for what's the calendar? So we have a live sale this week, but next week, Thursday, would be Thanksgiving. So it would be December the 5th will be the Christmas sale. Now go away. There we go. That will be the Christmas sale. And I found this in its original box, but I haven't tried to plug it in yet. I don't know if it lights up. And it's just a simple little thing with this fringe, and this is styrofoam, and then it's got the original red light bulb, but I have not had a chance to plug it in yet and see about this one. And the cord looks good. There's no cracks to the cord or anything. But ring-a-light decoration, what it's called. Have a date anywhere? Cellophane's gone. I don't want it to tip out. Made in Florida, New York. Vico Electric Manufacturing Company. But no date. Got all this on the back, but no date. And this end of the box is a little rough, but it is in its original, here we go, in its original box. But December, what did I just say? December 3rd, that'll be the Christmas sale. The all Christmas stuff. So, wow, the lag is serious. At least for the chat. What's going on here? I could see comments from Jen on the laptop, but not, I mean on the phone, but not on the laptop. Get into live chat. There you go. Well, yeah, everything's one day at a time sometimes, isn't it? Oh, so, hey, look, I found them. In the live chat last week, I said I could not find my fingerless gloves because I found one of each type. Today, I found the other ones. These are the ones from Hot Topic from, I don't know, decades ago. And because, you know, pirates. So, but these are good because I can keep working. Because I found if, and the other ones, they come up to here if I put my thumb through them. And if I wear them to sleep, then I don't end up with waking up with my fingers like this. These, it keeps my hands warm and I can still work. I mean, the tips of my fingers still get cold, but where the arthritis gets me is here and here. It doesn't mess with up here yet, but mostly it's here on the knuckles up that meet the hand. So it's nice to be able to keep that warm and still do stuff. So Warren's here. Hello, Warren. Hello. Warren, some of the stuff tonight is paper. You might be interested. And I have to get yours set because I waited till I could find the little goodies I wanted to send to you. I'm losing my scarf here. Let's get this set. Ugh. See, you know it's winter time because all my long, thin, rectangular scarves are going to come out. But this one's my favorite. The pink, pale pink with the black cats all over it. This one's my favorite. Keeps you warmer. You lose an awful lot of heat, you know, coming up out of your clothes. So even if it's in your house, a nice little, and it's, you know, it looks kind of nice. Nice little decorative scarf. And if you don't want it hanging down, you just tuck that sucker right on in. Keeps you warm. So, but yeah, I have the hat on because my ears are getting cold. And when that happens, I tend to catch head cold. So you'll see me in the hat anytime I'm feeling dragged out and feeling too cold. But like Mike says, I have the blood of a lizard because you know how they always had to take your temperature during the lockdown and everything if you were still working. And my temperature was always 96. So I'm already it doesn't take much for me to tell the difference in temperature because of the fact that my body heat's already 2 points lower than it usually should be. I've got my water. I was in a little bit of a panic last night because my cute little Harry Potter phone charger broke, and a piece of it broke off and it came off and was sticking out of here, and it wouldn't go back together. So we had to go out this evening and buy me a new cord. But this one's 6 foot. So it should be all right. And I have the camera back the way I usually had it. So you can see the TARDISes behind me. So we've gotten that all straightened out, and tonight's trash night. I need to not sneeze though. I should have dusted off this little mini heater. And now that it's heating up, you know that funky dust smell when your radiators first kick on? I'm getting that from this little portable one. Oh well. I knew I should have grabbed more cough drops. I didn't think of that. But get stuff out of the way here. So 11 people, well, 10, because I'm one of them with the laptop. So I'm glad to see everybody. It's nice to see you all here. And I want to thank those of you. A couple of you sent me some buy me a teas this week, and thank you very much. And somebody asked me how super chats work, and I'm not. There should be a button somewhere. They said they couldn't find it, and I don't really know. I'm on my own. That says edit analytics, edit video, join. Join just gives memberships. Oh, okay, I see. In the chat, if you're here, the person who messaged me about how do the super stickers and super chats, there's a little $sign symbol on the chat part. And if you tap that, if you click on that, then it opens up to super chat, super stickers, super chat. It shows the memberships, and you can click on any one of those, and that's how that works. Now, how do I make it go away? Because, oh, there it is. There's the X at the top. So it tells you how long it's been since I've been able to give somebody else one of those, because I didn't remember how to do it. Oh my goodness. But they are there, and I thank you very much for anybody that chooses to do them. I'm not a 501(c), so it won't be a tax write-off for the end of the year for you. Sorry about that. But there's a lot of museums and kids' things out there that certainly could use donations, and food banks. Do not forget food banks and shelters. Winter's coming. They're all going to need us. I actually have to call City Team here in Chester tomorrow because I was given another giant ham. And last year they took 3 of them that I had in my freezer. Well, at Easter, somebody gave me a giant ham. Giant. I can't lift it. It's over 30 pounds. It's massive. I could kill somebody with this thing. It is so huge and frozen solid. But it's just massive. I've never seen one so big. And so they gave us that at Easter and said, you could slice it up and freeze it. But we just don't, the 3 of us, other than bacon, 3 of us aren't real big fans of ham. Or just even pork in general. So it's just there since Easter. And now I have another one sitting next to it. So that is 15 pounds. Smaller. more manageable for just 3 people, but still, even that's more than enough. So rather than have it go to waste, I'm going, oh, Jen, thank you. It's so sweet of you. You are so sweet. Oh, I like the little flying dude. He's cute. When I was a kid and we used to joke around about what superpower did you want? I did not want to fly. I wanted that laser vision thing, but I wanted to be able to control it, not like in X-Men where Scott can't control it and has to wear the glasses all the time. Because as a kid on all these family vacations, if I had that kind of power, then I could just zap all the trash you used to see along the old route numbers before all these major highways were built and just make all the trash go away. But if the person is here who yet or comes later, that's what super stickers look like. You get to pick some little picture and they're really pretty cool. And thank you so much, Jan. That's very sweet of you. Look at that. I did it again. Squirrel. Off to something else. What was I talking about? Before the super sticker, we said that. See, my brain. Oh my goodness. I'm more focused if I have part of one of those energy drinks, but I didn't drink a Monster. But anyway, let's start a new topic all over again. Since I can't remember what I was talking. I'm sorry. My brain is slightly fried this week. I mean, Wednesday was a blurred mess of runaround all over. And then Wednesday night, I stayed up. I didn't go to bed till 6 o'clock this morning. And I woke up at like 9:30 because I knew I had to give Aragorn his medicine. And then I went back to bed. And I kind of woke up at 12. Oh, my brain comes and goes. That's the problem. It doesn't always leave the building and stay away. It comes back and then it decides to leave mid-sentence. But then I woke up again. It was 2 o'clock and I had 4 cats in my room, 3 of them on the bed, and my feet hanging off the end. Well, not the end, but hanging off the side of my own bed because Gimli and Elrond and Aragorn had all huddled up by my feet and just kept pushing over and had literally pushed my feet. I think that's what finally woke me up. My feet were getting cold. They pushed my feet off the side of the bed. Little stinkers. So I'm kind of like out of sorts and flaky today, I think, because I stayed up way too late so that I could get some stuff out of here. Left it for Gary, took it to the post office for me this morning. And so I got 3 packages out of here this morning. And I knew tonight, I knew last night, tonight is trash night. And I had a bunch of stuff I was trying to get through that I kind of figured half of it was going to be just shot because it's stuff that had been in the basement and damp down there. So cleaning out stuff down there so that I could try to get to one of the windows to repair it a little bit so we stop having a cold draft there. The window is a newer window. It's not one of the 1911 windows, but there's no real caulking. They kind of like fit it in, and there's one spot where it should have been cemented in because the caulking didn't stick to the old stones, and the caulking around the windows is starting to fail. And this had a big chunk where there was a gap between like the straight edge of the window and the stone, and there was a gap like that, like a half an inch wide. And so my dad must have just filled it with this caulk, but that caulk has now failed and something has chewed it off. and pushed it open. So the mice that the cats are killing in the basement, that may be one of the places they're coming in at. So I was trying to move stuff around last night in that corner, and that's not a corner where I really knew what was in there. It's one of the corners in the basement that I hadn't gone through yet, and got all that squared away, and wasn't able to cement it because it's too cold at night. The cement's not going to set. If we get another warm snap, then I'll be able to do that. But I basically made some paper mache and wedged it in there, so at least blocked up the draft. So that's one draft done. That will help. So if you've not been to one of my sales before, welcome. I've inherited 3 different estates, and there's just all kinds of different stuff. I mean, as I eventually get through this, there's everything from costumes to vintage clothing, adults and children. There's craft stuff galore from me, my mother, and her mother. There's sewing stuff that goes all the way back to my great-grandmother when she had, hello, Other Nancy, when she had her own sewing business in Norwood, PA. So we never quite know what Nancy's going to find. And while it looks like utter chaos, believe me, we have gotten stuff out of here. We actually have. The problem now comes in that I have no shelf space. So when I unpack, it's kind of like, well, where do you put the stuff you know you want to keep? And then what do you do with the stuff you know you want to sell? Where do you put it? So it's gotten a little more chaotic because of that. But at the same time, I'm happy to say I know stuff has left. Stuff has left, one way or another. Stuff has left. So that's a plus. That's always a plus. And tonight, we're going to make a few more small things leave, I hope. And we'll see what we can do. I don't have a lot tonight. For those of you who just came in a little late, that's okay, because I know Lorianne is probably still going. December 3rd. No, it wasn't the 3rd. 5th. December 5th will be the Christmas sale. I will have Christmas stuff that night. So anybody wants Christmas, vintage Christmas, we will have Christmas stuff. So I'll put it in the chat. There we go. Because I'd found some stuff, and I've been very carefully like making sure it got into the bin, the tub over here, so that we had stuff. But as far as trying to find stuff for this week, honestly, I opened 2 totes even this afternoon, still trying to find stuff, and I open it up. It's all clothing. Vintage clothing, some of it kids' clothing, because there's a pair of black flare pants for probably a 6-year-old. So basically, they're black bell bottoms. Now they call them flares. And they have little silver studs down the seam on the outside edge. And I'm looking at that going, I remember seeing a picture of me in those. Those were mine when I was little, like real little. So I was like, okay, well, then that one's not going to work for tonight. And I opened up the next tub that was underneath it. That's all books. I didn't even look to see what kind. I'm like, really? I just closed that back up. I opened another box. It was all vintage hats. Nope. So I kept opening boxes and not finding the usual, porcelain and china and figurines. Just did not find that this week. Other than the selection, I found a box. It's all odd bits of different vintage children's tea sets. None of them are complete sets. And so I brought a couple of them tonight. Some of these I think are really cool because you could, I mean, you could do something with them to make tiny little arrangements. If you could find a place that still has dried flowers or really nice small, like really small silk flowers, but those you don't see very often until spring. And even then, it's hit or miss to find fake violets and stuff like that. So I do ship through Pirate Ship. So you do usually get a discount on the shipping. Media mail stuff that can go media mail goes media mail to save you some money. The only thing that ends up turning out to be really heavier than what you think they're going to be is when I have to send magazines and fabric. Both are heavy. Both do not have any way to discount them. Magazines cannot go media mail because they hold advertisements. Because that's basically their rule of thumb. That's why you can send DVDs, CDs, videotapes, remember those? Books. You could send all of those through media mail, but you cannot send magazines through media mail. And being that they're heavy, they sometimes cost more than you would think because of the fact that it's a different kind of paper, so they could saturate it with the colors for the inks, and that tends to make them heavier. Let's see, anything else you need to know? I ship from Chester, PA, though usually it says Brookhaven because that's where the main, I'm closer to that post office than I am the city of Chester one, which is on the other side of town. Because I am way off on a corner of this city, and I'm cut off from most of the city by Interstate 95. Most of the city's over there along the Delaware River. So I am about 45 minutes below Philadelphia and 45 minutes above Wilmington, Delaware. City of Chester is like right smack in the middle up that 95 corridor. So far, none of the other cats are showing any signs being sick, just Aragorn. He's still sneezing. He still tends to run fevers. They start sometime in the night and in the morning. His paws will be real hot. His nose will be dry. His ears will be cold. So he's still running fevers and sneezing. But once he wakes up from sleeping for so long, like he will sleep all through the night, come down to get food, go back to sleep. He's only being active now between about 1 in the afternoon and 9 at night. And then he wants to go back to sleep. So he's sleeping a lot. But he's alert now. He's not that real lethargic. He's just, when he goes to sleep, he's just sleeping a lot. But he's surprising us all because he takes the medicine. I don't have to, none of that trying to hold his mouth open. I just sit it down in front of him and he picks it up in his mouth. Now, mind you, this blew me away. He's chewing it, which they said was okay, but they said he's not going to want to do that because it's going to taste horrible. But that's what he's doing. So he eats both pieces of the pill, chews them up, swallows them, and then looks at you for a treat. He's not stupid. If I swallow these two things, they'll give me the thing I really want. So he's doing well. The other cats are okay. Jack, they still don't have an opening to do surgery on his eye. So he's still outside, but I do have the a cooler that was bigger. That's on the back porch. We had tried to get Tux to go into it, and he wouldn't. But Jack's been sleeping in that one, and then the doctor has hers on the wood porch right behind the window back here that she's been sleeping in because she still has refused to come back inside the house. I thought with the rain last night, we got a kicker of a rainstorm last night, thunder and everything, and I thought she'd want to come in. So I called, and nope, she was hunkered down somewhere. She wasn't coming out in that rain. But one of these nights it'll get cold enough. She'll come back in. But she doesn't want to be around Aragorn because his idea of play is to jump on her, and it's too much for her. She can't handle that. Now she has been playing with Gimli. They'll play tag. One will catch the other and smack them, and then they stop and they stare at each other and they see who's going to run first. And sometimes it's her and she gets chased by him, and sometimes he takes off and she chases him. So she's finally figured out a way to play because she grew up with a dog, not another cat. So she doesn't really have that same sense of what playtime is with other cats, but she's figured something out with Gimli that she likes to do. And so they'll find them sitting next to each other or laying next to each other in the sunlight on the picnic table. That's a plus. Absolutely a plus. So I'm hoping that'll help get her back in once it gets cold. So, but that Snowball's still coming over periodically, the all white one, to get food, and he's a shelter at Susan's on one of the houses behind me. And I haven't seen Percy. Charlie, I haven't seen Charlie, the red tabby, since he had gotten another worse wound in his neck that actually opened it up all the way down to like the collarbone. And if that got infected or another cat got a deep cut in there, it could have, sadly, it could have gotten to the vein. I've not seen him for months, but the twin of his, the one that looks just like a paler version of him, has been around a couple times in the mornings and then disappears. And it's very timid and it just looks at you. He's so sad. So we've named him Percy Weasley because he's a redhead too. He's another red tabby. But he's not here consistently. Jack is, and is now found that he doesn't have to sleep under the porch. He can actually sleep in a styrofoam thing that's got straw, or hay or whichever it is without the seeds, so that he can stay nice and warm and has somewhere. So that's an update on all the kitties. So we're still, hoping that Forgotten Cats will have an opening that he can go in and get where that eye is missing and get that stitch shut and properly fixed, and get him fixed so that he stops having his ears ripped apart. Okay, thank you. Weirdest cat. I know, weirdest cat. Just eats it right up. Mike knew I was starting at 10, so he gave him his medicine tonight. So that's where the shipping is from. That's an update on the cats. I don't tend to do just in case in my lives. If you see something you think should be an offer up, you can put offer in the chat and we'll do it as an offer up. I don't know that I really have anything that I thought should just automatically be an offer up tonight, but if you think it should be, we can do it. And it's the usual thing. I will show the item. The item will have a number, and I have little cards with numbers on them. Funny though, there should be 100 of these. Well, 99, but that pile does not look like 99. So somehow I've managed to lose a lot of these along the way. I'm telling you, man, brains aren't all there. So let's start with if I can reach it. Okay, so there's where are the cups? There's one cup. I know there's another cup. Where's the other cup? There we go. So this little tiny set doesn't have markings on the cup. It says Japan in red on the bottom. Now, on these, like especially this one, this part is kind of rough and scratchy. I don't know what they had these sitting on in the kiln, but it comes off. It's almost like it's plaster, but it's you see the rough edge on that. But the images are really kind of cute. So this one's in the best shape, and there's what looks like an older man in a cart and kids all around him. And on this one, he's got a dog pulling the cart. But on the cup, which one? On this one, I thought it was a frog because the dog has been painted green. It's the same image. So these aren't very big. So there's my numbers. You can see. So that's what? They're about 2.5 wide, the cups. So, I mean, I've seen people take different ones of these kind of little things and then glue them on wreaths and do different little things with them. So there's this one with its little cup and saucer. And then there's this one. Now, this one has some wear to the green around the top. The dog is the right color. The handles are both good, but the green is a little worn there for that cup. Now, this plate, there's no chips or crack. Well, there's no cracks to any of them, but there is. It's weird because it's not a chip, but it's a rough spot. It's whatever this same stuff that's on here. There's a little piece of it stuck right there. And this one, there's still a little damp because I washed it. There's a little bit of wear starting on there's a little bit of wear here. It's hard to see on the camera, but there's a little bit of wear to the paint, like his leg isn't quite all there, the little boy behind it. So that's 2. And then there's this extra one, which again has this rough stuff. But the extra one has more wear to it. You can see part of the circle is missing. And the man is missing his face. So that was my pen. Okay, find a new pen. Pencil? No, pencil doesn't have a point. The house ate the old pencil sharpener. Well, I guess I'm using my green pen tonight. I don't usually use that. Oh, no. Do I not have a... No. That's a dip pen. Oh, boo. All right. I need to get that. Come here, you. Stop running away. Oh. There. Need that. Because I use my colored pens, the red and the green one, for the notes I make on when I've sent an invoice, when I've mailed the package, if I've gotten paid. So all the totals end up, everything's written in red. And then once things are paid and shipped, that's green. So I can just look at it at a glance and know what's going out and what's still to be done. Okay, so you have this. There's a set of 3 saucers, 2 cups of the little Asian boys with the dog cart. So this would be $3, number 65. $3, number 65 for this little lot. 2 cups. Okay. Come on now. Oh, those are some of the cards I found. Put them in the bottom. Now, another porcelain thing I have is, this is from Gift Co. Inc. It has its little sticker, and it's hard to see it, but it actually says Gift Co. You can just see the lines, but it is impressed under there. It's got the little slot. It's got its nice little pretty lid. This is for rolls of stamps. You can just put the roll in and have that sticking out. Or I jokingly told my sister that I had one of these, and she let me know what she did with the one she had. Is she had actually, because her kids were always banging into things, and you know, they both played in the street because they lived on a cul-de-sac and were coming in with scrapes and needing band-aids. So one day she took a thing of kids' band-aids and just like scotch taped the ends together a little bit and put them in a tight roll and just used it as a dispenser for band-aids, which I thought was absolutely hysterically funny. So this is, so you get an idea. It's 2 inches, well, no, it's a little higher because of that knob. So it's 2.5 inches high. It will take a full roll of 100 stamps in there. I know, because I've done it. But I don't have to send mailings out like that anymore. I haven't been guild mistress of the art and singers in a long time. So, or done publicity for them in a long time. So this cute little stamp holder is $3. It's just $3, and it's number 31. $3, number 31 for the stamp holder. Put that in this corner. Usually I have my box over here, but I have that radiator. I have that heater thing on. So let's do, come here, King Tut. Let's do you. There's a lot of paper stuff tonight. So I don't know if this would work for anybody that's doing crafting or junk journaling, but I have Discovery of the Tutankhamun and the Discovery of the Tomb. Now this is a folder thing printed in Great Britain. Jackdaw is the printer. Put out Jackdaw Publishing in Britain. I don't see a year on this, but it's full of all kinds of stuff. So you've got the nice picture on the front, but inside are all these papers. You get this whole stack of papers. So you've got all these great images that have big hieroglyphics, which were, this would have been just one wall in the tomb. So you've got that one. This is a facsimile of a letter that was sent to Howard Carter in August of 1923. It's hard to read that handwriting, but it's something about all the work's been carried out by your instructions. Something is all right. Treasure is all right. The northern something is all right. So basically it's telling him all these things are all right. And they hope the Almighty keeps him well. But this is a bigger one. And if you like Egyptian art, this would be pretty cool. I mean, you could frame this. Because this is a nice size. I mean, this would make a great framed image. So you have that and that. Now, here's a thing. Do you know who backed Howard Carter for the dig that found King Tut? This is a broadsheet burying a pharaoh. Broadsheet would have been a... Oh, okay. So this is a whole write-up. Now you can see that there's little holes there. And some little brown mark. But there's the inside mummy that was in the sarcophagus. So Lord Carnarvon, see, Jen knows, Warren knows. Whose house is Lord Carnarvon's? You all have seen it. You've all seen the house. If you watch Downton Abbey, you've seen the house. That's Lord Carnarvon's estate. Highclere Castle is the seat of the Carnarvons. And but they have, his son ended up selling off a lot of the Egyptian stuff to pay the inheritance taxes. So there's none of that left at Highclere. But the house that they use for Downton Abbey is Lord Carnarvon's estate, and that's Highclere Castle. And that's what they use for Downton. Now, this is how this goes over all the details of how he unpacked the tomb. And it really goes step by step of what they did, and because they had to be so super careful. But it's cool because they've even got this one. I thought was cool. This is a copy of the News of the World. It's a facsimile, but it's Lord Carnarvon dead, huntsman who became great Egyptologist. So he was bitten by a mosquito at Luxor soon after discovering the tomb, but blood poisoning set in. So it quickly spread to the glands, and then pneumonia, and he'd only been in Egypt a fortnight, which would be 2 weeks. Fortnight is 14 days usually, so he'd only been in Egypt for 2 weeks to see, what he had funded. So it has the write-up on him. But what surprised me is they didn't just copy that part. They copied the entire page of the newspaper from that day. So it's from April 8th, 1923. It's hard to see on this side because they blurred it. There's something about the royal wedding. And it says Lady Elizabeth and Westminster Abbey. So would that be 1923? Would that be Queen Elizabeth's parents? Queen Elizabeth II's parents? So that's that little article. Spectre of Discovery talked of suicide after embezzlement. Brewery manager and his surveyor friend, and the guy was skimming money off the brewery. So I found it interesting, to go through. Now, the Lord Carnarvon, they do have picture. down the bottom here of him. And it does talk about his career and an old superstition revived about raiding a tomb and everybody dying from it. So that's part of the article. But it's just as much fun to read all this other stuff that's in here, because there's everything from like court orders. Somebody's accused of stealing 2 motor cars. I love how they still call them motor cars at that point. So basically the pages is like his death is on the notice for all the crime stuff that happened, which is really kind of a weird place to put it. This is one of the sketches from Howard Carter of one of the statues. You have another broadsheet, The Gift of the Nile, Finding the Tomb. This is a big one. This has a lot of the what they call the treasures, and I guess could be used as a poster on the wall. But it's got some color pictures to it, but it's also got drawings of some of it and where it was found. It has the map of the tomb. So like I said, if you're really into King Tut or Egyptian stuff, or want to use it to make some kind of, there's a thing of who was he. This one is, oh, this is the basically the glossary of all the stuff that's in here, or the index, because each one of these papers I've been showing you is numbered, and then this has notes on the exhibition. So each of these things that's numbered is in, it says in here, 2 of Howard Carter's index cards. One was showing the jackal. I showed you that. The page from News of the World about his death. So that was number 2. So this gives the guide to what all of these things are, because they all are numbered. 4B. So this is the second one of the note cards. This is number 10. And this explains the hieroglyph and the images. So this one goes through and it gives you all the details of who everybody's supposed to be that's in this image, and how important they are in relation to Tutankhamun, to relation to the king. And then this one is really cool. I really like that. That's such a cool image. And that's all of it that's in here. Now, I believe it's all here. All 10 items. But all of that, and it comes in what had been the original folder. Now, I think the original folder, you can see this whiteness. I think it had some kind of cap on the ends, and then whatever glue was holding that on did not last. So I don't know how old this is. Considering the way things are copied, I would say this is, because I would say this is probably maybe the 70s, maybe early 80s. So you've got this whole thing, and this whole thing on King Tut is $4. $4, number 81. Because where are you going to find that? You find stuff now where you find it's all books. But to have all those little separate pieces that you could do anything with, 1985. Okay. Cobra ate the canary. Okay, Warren, thank you. I almost didn't put this in tonight because I knew I needed to have an envelope that would fit the length this way. And I found one about 10 minutes before the sale started. We shall sit you right there, because I can't sit you in that box. There's still stuff in there. All right. So I have 2 more paper things. These are from 1957. One is February and one is August. Now, so these would be fun to read if you were born in 1957 or know anybody from 1957. I'm in love with that car ad. That's fabulous. That is for a Pontiac. All that chrome. Back when cars had style. Cars today all look too much like each other. Will atomic electric power plants, what will they look like? They don't look like that. They really don't look like that. They don't have a big ball like that anywhere. Nah. More carafe kind of shape. Did you? You met the Queen Mum? Well, she was tiny. I mean, Queen Elizabeth wasn't that tall either. Which always made Prince Philip look incredibly tall. I met Edward before he was married. The last day we were in London, Sarah Ferguson had the first daughter. That's when I had a chance to go sing in London for a week. And outside the Savoy Theater, there was this gorgeous, absolutely stunning looking Mustang convertible, red, all white interior. Wow, it looked beautiful, chrome everywhere, gorgeous, gorgeous vintage car. And he comes out, and I just hear a voice come up behind me. You like the car? I'm like, it's a stunner. It's beautiful. I wonder who owned. I said, oh. And so he gave me a look around at the car, and then I saw the license plate, and at the time it said it's had I think it said Fifth Air, and because that's the number in line he was. And I'm like, wait a minute, wasn't a baby born? I said, does that change it again? He goes, no, it was a girl. So he didn't have to change his license plate. But he was very nice. I liked him. He was pretty cool. He's seemed very down to earth. I can't say the same about what I think of Andrew, but so there are so many images in these because in 1957, color was coming more into being a standard for in magazines. But there's some great art pictures in this one, which is 19th century Americana, and they made a point of doing all the images except for the bird there. Most of the images are in color. Now, I am not having an orange kitchen. I don't care that that's dark orange. I'm not having an orange kitchen. I'm trying to see who the main articles are. Industrial health, the glow of the future. Ad for Glidden. A little write-up on Don Amici. Oh, wow, that's a boat. What is that? The 1960 new Plymouth. Plymouth what? That's a Fury V800? Sounds like an odd name for a car that's obviously not a sports car. It's a boat. You could cruise that sucker down the Nile. That thing's huge. My goodness. We don't need cars that long per se, but wow. So, what's that? Glimpse into the past of the vacation land of the future. Oh, that's for Pan American. Oh, but there's another cool one. That's a Mercury. Were they trying to outdo each other for how long the cars were going to be? Some guy named Dave Beck. Index. And it just says what they cover. America's art, books, business, education, international, medicine, movies, music. It doesn't actually have. Now that one has the look of a sports car, but it's still huge. That's a Roadmaster. So this one is the February 25th, 1957. Lots of car ads. And I looked it up on I looked them up on eBay, and it depends on who is in them. If these old newsworks are $4 average, or if there's one I found that's going for $30. Well, no wonder, it has Jack Kennedy in it. But this one would be $3 and is number 40 for the February one. And this one says Juan Carlos and Franco, International Report, now a new king of Spain. I have no idea who he is. Write my notes here real quick. Oh, hello. What are you? So in the back on books, there's a whole, what is it, 1 page or 2? There's a 2-page article because Herbert Hoover actually he wrote a book covering 3 years of the time when he was he's writing about Woodrow Wilson because he was in the cabinet. So they've got that. They've got a thing for movies. That's Marlon Brando on location for something. Who's the sports guy? Pittsburgh Pirates. Dickens taken out of play, but that's for one of the colleges. Can the Andrea Doria be raised from the sea? They wanted to know if they could pump it with air. Didn't they talk about that for the Titanic at one point? There's not as many fun car ads in this. Oh, look at businessmen in the summer, bedecked for hot weather or just bedeviled because they're wearing a straw boater. Why? You know, those are nice, cool hats. Kept your head from getting sunburned. This one doesn't have like the color ones. This is for General American Transportation Corporation, which is interesting considering it's showing a glass of wine. So the color ads are just odd. They're not like the car ones in the other one. An ad for travel to Venezuela. The big article is about Latin America. And then, of course, about Franco. Franco's problems and choice. And who was Spain's last king. Now there's a car ad. There's an Imperial ad. So, National Accounting Machines. Look at all those buttons. My goodness. Just give me a number pad or a calculator. That's too much. That's too many buttons. So this one is also $3 and is number 28 for this news week. They're fun little gifts to give if you know somebody who was born that year. I did that with National Geographics. I had a chance to get some that were like that entire year was in all together in a cardboard sleeve. And I also had some every time you had a subscription for the Encyclopedia Britannica, they would sell every year the book that was just on that year. And when I got rid of the ones that my mother had, I took all the ones from my siblings' birthdays and gave them the one for their year. I think I still have the one for my year tucked away somewhere. But the rest of them I sold as gag gifts for, for people's birth year. And I sold 12 of them that way. Sometimes you think outside of the box of what could be a fun gift. Speaking of silly fun gifts. So this is still in the box, but it has been opened. It's a Disney Villains little figurine. I was really hoping for, I was really hoping for one of these two, Maleficent or Captain Hook. What I got is the one who I never liked in the movies, in any of the movies. I got Cruella de Vil. So I'm selling off Cruella. Everything's there, her original bag. I opened up the bottom of the box and tuck that in there. So you too can have your very own little villain, but these are all the different ones, but this one is Cruella de Vil. It's one of those things where you buy it, it's a mystery box and you don't know what one you're gonna get. So Cruella is $5. Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil. That song I knew as a kid because we actually had the 45 of her song from the Disney movie. So Cruella de Vil for $5, number 10. You can have your very own Disney villain. If I find these again, Michael shoved this into my Christmas stocking a couple years ago, and 2 years ago, 3. And I was really hoping for Captain Hook or Maleficent. I didn't get it though. Oh, tea, coffee, chocolate, something hot. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Swiss Miss has actually put out dark chocolate, hot chocolate. It's hard to find. And Gary bought me a box. I think he felt guilty because he did something stupid. And I called him out on it. So he got me a box of it. And I'm loving it because I usually try to make dark chocolate, hot chocolate by trying to make a mix of my own using dark chocolate cocoa powder for baking. And some amount of sweetener and non-dairy creamer. And I've yet to get the ratio the same consistently. That hit the spot. That's good. So let's do another of the little bag of goodies. So found this and I realized that I'm not going to make this. Now the box has bounced around a lot. The outside cardboard box shows a lot of wear and tear. It's been moved several times. When I moved, it went with me. But I've never made it. It's curiosity kits to make a Victorian jewelry box. And all the stuff you need is in here. You've got the box. You've got, well, you might need new paint because that doesn't look like that's moving. I think that one might be glue. And yeah, and this is the foam thing to paint it is too old. But it comes with the felt. It comes with stickers, comes with a paintbrush, felts to do that. Yeah, that's just, yeah. Look, I can squish it. That part's no good. I'll sit that up there, and I have some that size, and I'll send it with it. But it has all the instructions. The only thing I was frustrated with is when I opened it up and looked, they folded the scrap image because it wouldn't fit in the box. They made the box too small. So you're going to have to press to try to get rid of the crease in the hands for if you're going to use the hands on top of the jewelry box. But it comes with the hands and it comes with all these little wheelbarrows of flowers. So you've got all of those with it. And they sent these, but I don't see how these come off unless you're meant to cut them out. And if you're going to have to try to cut these out, you're going to need manicure scissors. So do they have letters? They don't have any letters on the box. So I'm not sure what those are for. But it does have all the instructions. And the box is not a bad wood. It's lightweight and it's nice. But there's a nice grain to it. So if you just wanted to use wood varnish on it, you could. Or if you wanted to paint it, you could. Just be aware that if you paint it, you probably should prime it first. Because that's bare wood, it's going to suck up the paint like a sponge. So copyright 1994. So that's the instructions. And then it's got a little ad thing for other curiosity kits, which they have everything. They made everything from jewelry, felt things. Now this is, they have a picture of this kit, but they have it painted dark blue, which is not what's on the cover of the box. The cover of the box is different. So that's just an advertisement for other kits, but there are some cool pictures of other crafted things on there. So you've got, the only thing you'd probably have to replace is the thing of glue and the paint. Oh, it is blue on that. I thought it wasn't. It looks a lot darker on the other image than this one. So you've got everything else but that. So it's a jewelry box kit. And honestly, if you don't want to use the piece of black felt to line the inside, you can use any fabric. The trick is where it meets the edges. If you're going to use fabric, measure your piece out, but leave like a 1/4 inch allowance because you're going to need to iron that edge straight and then glue it in. Because otherwise, if you leave like satin and just have the rough edge up, then eventually you're going to have little threads coming up. So you're going to have to make a tiny, tiny little fold over. So the jewelry kit is, everything's in there but the paint. Boxes are expensive now, but let's do this anyway. We'll give you a break. So we're going to make this really nice and cheap. It's going to be $4, number 26. $4, number 26. And you get that whole kit. And I know, like, even just getting those, what they call scraps, those pieces that are all the die cut pieces, and they're all embossed, you can't even get just those sheets for $4. So let's take these and sit you right there because I want to get some more china. So, oh my goodness. Welcome to, I see our numbers have jumped around. We were at 20 people watching and now we're at 17. Hello and welcome. I'm losing my scarf and my scarf's wrapping up in the little cat toys. So, there we go. That's better. Now, let's see. This is a little crafter's lot. So you have this really nice, and this is, it says made in Japan, but this is really, really fine china. This is really thin. You can see the light right through it. It's a nice thin porcelain. And there's even this faint little leafy thing on the back and what looks like a wild rose, beautifully hand painted on the front. And then, oh, they're high enough. Thank you. And then there's this little guy, but he reminds me of Chip from Sleeping Beauty because he's got a little chip in the front there. And I don't know if this saucer goes with him, but because this is kind of roughly made, it's not perfectly flat, but it fits. It's the right size for him. So this is basically just a little crafter's lot if you want to figure some way to craft with them. So for these, this is just $1 for these. So this is what I'm calling a crafter's lot for those three. So they're just $1 and it's number 15. I'm ahead of myself here. I'm a little ahead of myself. Okay, crafter's lot. $1 and it was number 15. There's got to be something that can be done. That is a nice bone china one. Make a nice sake cup for nothing else. Okay, we're going to sit you with your number in there. We did that. And I have to make sure this is balanced so it doesn't tip. You go. Because there is most of a set. Oh, Marilyn. You want the crafter's lot? All right, thank you. Now, this, if you saw the video of my surprise friend mail from Lisa at Flippin' Crazy, she surprised me so much. She sent this box of goodies for the kitties, and there was goodies in there for me. And she said they were things that I could either resell or keep or pass along. There's some pretty little stuff in there that I'm definitely keeping. There's some jewelry that will be coming up because she and I want to do a jewelry sale together. We just have yet to get our schedules together. But she just spoiled the little kitties. She knew I was upset because of Tux passing away and then finding out that Aragorn caught whatever Tux had. And whatever it is, it's when it gets into, if it gets into their lungs, it's causing blood clots in their lungs, which is not good. But this was one of the things, and it's a made in occupied Japan piece. Now, right here on the base, there is a little chip, but you don't see that chip anywhere when it's standing up. So it's just on the underneath. It doesn't show. Frodo! I think I have a cat stuck in the basement. Hang on. Frodo? Oh, no, you're upstairs, just wandering down in the hallway. Okay. I don't know why he does that. Yeah, it broke my heart. He passed away. I did bring him inside and had him isolated from the others and on a heating pad, and so at least his last moments it just killed me because it just he was so sweet and obviously was not a stray. Somebody dumped this poor baby, and I don't even think he was quite a full year old yet. But he was so malnutritioned when he showed up. I didn't know if that was because of feline HIV or what it could have been, or feline leukemia. And then they didn't test him for anything. So I was disappointed in that, because they kept telling me they would, because if they had been tested him and he'd been clear, I would have brought him into the house. And I wasn't able to. And the person who was thinking of taking him, the last person who saw him, they had something happen and they didn't get back to me in time. And it was after they found out he passed that they said, oh, but they had wanted him. That just hurt even more. So, but he's not in any pain and he's not cold. So, and I'm sure my Cosette, who I had years ago, met him at the Rainbow Bridge and has probably introduced him to all the other pets I've owned. And they're all going to be there waiting for me. Let's see, 3 guinea pigs, 2 dogs. No, wait, Verona. 3 dogs. Quite a few cats. A couple of birds. Wild birds, but birds. But this was one of the things she sent. And this is... darn it. Mike gave me pizza rolls because we had such a late lunch that we both were like, yeah, you know what? We're eating lunch at 3:30. Neither one of us wants to make dinner. So it's just a smidge under 4 inches tall, but it's got that nice classic shape. I love this is not painted. Well, it is painted. It's painted green, but this is all dimensional. All this little fluting. Now you can see one spot there. Now, I'm guessing that's where some kind of mold was, because it's the same on the other side. And there's a little bit of a thicker spot that comes up, but you know, that's why they painted the tree there. It makes the tree look dimensional. And there's also dimension in the pattern to right here sticks up, and then where the people are sticks up. And it's 2 little children planting another tree. It's so, so cute. Now, I have a lot of, I love small little vases like this, because in the spring, the snowdrops are up, and then the violets come, and then before you know it, the lily of the valley come, and I have both purple and white violets in my yard. So this is a bit big. The opening for what I will pick in this very early spring, this is too big. But if you have roses, because sometimes roses, they'll bloom, but they'll only have like a short little stem. This is perfect for 2 or 3 of those. And it's got enough weight to it that it won't be top heavy. So I thought I would offer this one. It's really cool. Made in occupied Japan is a time period where it was a very brief time period. So you don't find too much actually marked as made in occupied Japan. But it does have crazing, but there's, like I said, there's no serious cracks. The crazing just shows its age. The crazing is not discoloring. And as I said, that chip is on the base and does not show up really on the outside. And it is such a cute little theme. So this little vase, I'm going to call it the little tree vase. Occupied Japan. So it's going to be $4. And it's number 84. I used to say you can't have too many little short vases, but you can. They have to be the right thing. And my roses, because of where they're at, I don't get roses till into the summer because they're too shaded in the spring. So I just don't need another one that size. I could always use one that's a little smaller. Yeah, see, I love little old vases. And even if you don't fill them all with flowers, you could have one or two with flowers and then make a grouping of them. I did that one year on the middle of the dining room table. Mom, we were having a meeting here for something. I was still in high school, so I don't even know what it was. It was Mom and some women, I think, from that were doing costumes together for a show. And they met here around the dining room table. So I took a bunch of my little vases and I made this nice little thing for them. Lois, hello, dear. How are you? I was thinking about you not that long ago. Why? What was I thinking about you? I know I was thinking about Val, and I know why. Why was I thinking about Lois? I can't remember. I can't remember because my brain just... I found something and it had your name on it, and I can't remember why. And it's not the packing list because you're not on there. Huh. I don't know. I don't know. I'll remember about 2 hours after the sale ends. That's what it'll be. All right. So, like I said, I didn't have a lot. I just wasn't. I'm to the point now where I'm finding a lot of stuff that's either crafting, vintage sewing, or oh wait, not that, because that's got the recipe for jambalaya that I'm gonna make tomorrow. But I just wasn't finding porcelain. Still living. Well, I'm glad of that. I'm glad of that. I've had far too many bad news of things like that lately. So I have another little booklet. Now, we had little golden books, which were all kinds of story stuff. In Britain, they had ladybird books, which were, some of them were crafting books. A lot of them were books on different places or were historical books. This is one on Scotland. It's a little ladybird book. It's in great shape. What's the date on this one? I mean, honestly, until I read it, I don't think anybody'd ever read it. Oh, Roman numerals. They love their Roman numerals. Okay, 1950, 60, 70, 80, 1986. First edition. So it's got some wonderful pictures of different places. It basically just gives you a nice overview of Scotland. Michael was laughing at me. We were talking, oh, look, there's Nessie. Michael and I were talking about Scotland because he started watching The Crown, the latest season of The Crown, and I just started laughing when they were at Balmoral because I recognized the house they used for Balmoral is the same house that they used for an old British TV show called Monarch of the Glen. I've forgotten the name, the actual name of that building, of that castle, but you can actually go and stay in it. They actually like rent out rooms and you can stay in the summertime at that particular building. It's like a bed and breakfast kind of thing now. I want to go there so much. It's such an awesome house. But I had to start laughing because they were coming down a staircase, and at one point I'm like, at one of the front hallways of the house, I'm like, I know that place. That's that's the house from Monarch of the Glen. So if you want to know just a little about Scotland, like a nice little overview with pictures, or to teach a kid that there is more to the world than just our country, these books are great ways to do it. Look at that one. I'm not cleaning all those windows. Colzine Castle, that one is. Yeah, I'm not cleaning all that. So let me move the vintage cards out of the way here. So this little ladybird book of Scotland is a first edition, and it's in excellent shape. And I know these little ladybird books are usually $8 to $10, but you guys, this one is $5 and it's 51. $5, number 51. I've had this in my little stash for a long while. Being that it's from the 80s, I think I bought this when I was in London. And I've decided it's time to pass it on. I'm trying to clear my shelves off a little bit. Just a little bit. Let's take that out of there because that one's done. So, what's next? Let's do, okay, where are my people that like their ephemera? I have some vintage cards. This one's never been used. Says thinking of you, but that is a fantastic tall image that you could use those flowers for the cover if you're doing a junk journal. That would be a great one. It says, hoping to hear that you're up and around soon on the inside, but it's just the artwork. I've always held on to this one because I just love the artwork on the front. And then the rest of these I found were a pack of things from my parents. So these are embossed daisies and violets. Says happy anniversary. And then you've got a nice little one there. Oh, and it's from my mom's sister and her husband. So you've got that one. And you know what? This will be an offer because I never know what to do for these. Circa. Wait, let's figure out. Oh, yeah, this is before me. So this is circa 1950s. No, not that. Not $45. Come on, give me my there. It didn't want to give me the number symbol. We're going to start this as at $5, which is still less than $1 a card. So you've got those two. You've got two baby ones. Best wishes on baby's first birthday. Blue snowsuit, pop-up book, and a rattle. I wonder if that's the baby blue. So there's a baby blue wool snowsuit, leggings, and this really nice jacket that all 6 of us have worn as teeny ones. It even has a little hat. It's still here. So, baby's first birthday, I'm guessing from Nanny and Poppy, I'm guessing that might have been for Steve, the oldest one of us. So that puts it in, oh God, when was he born? 16 years between us. I was born in 65. That puts it at what, 51 or 49? I cannot do math in my head. I never could. I'm dyslexic with numbers, so I have to write it out. So I think that one would be from him. Then this is probably congratulations on your new baby, and it just says lots of luck, the gang. And it has all these names on the back, but I like, okay, so the front's embossed, right? But look at all these little, look at the little panda. Isn't it cute? The images inside, they're adorable. And all those nice little roses you could use for junk journaling. So I'm thinking this is probably, if they were found together, so if it's first birthday and new baby, so then this has got to be my sister Phyllis. Would be the new baby. So you get those two with the other two. And there is a linen postcard from Clearwater, Florida. Entrance to Million Dollar Causeway and American Legion statue. So you get that. Now that was mailed by somebody named R.S. Laird to my mom when she was still Miss. This is November 15th, 1944. I wonder if that's the initials R.S. Laird. I'm wondering if that's the guy she was engaged to before my dad. This little image, it's just a little note card. Don't have the envelope, but it's very much a cute little Easter. Look at those tiny, tiny little ducks. Tiny, tiny little ducklings. This is such a cute image. So that comes with it. This card is embossed everywhere. Even this part is textured. And it says, for your sis on your birthday. But it's a really nice image of a woman. And then inside. Now, inside, you've got this nice textured piece of linen. So if you've got, if you still have rubber stamps, that's a nice type of paper to stamp a design on that you want to then color in and use in a junk journal. But that's a really nice image of a lady with flowers. So you get that one. You get this one, a double wish for your birthday. And the leashes on the puppies are actual little silk ribbons. And it's got those on the inside, so you've got little borders you could use. But then in the back, it says to you from me, and it's got these little tiny birds in the corners. And then you have roses. Now this one has some yellowing top and bottom. It was sticking out of the pile, but you've got these lovely roses. And this is like onion paper. And you've got a rose there. We have another one. Look at this all over print of these flowers. Isn't that great? This is blessings for your birthday. Oh, Annie Ow. So, but I just think those flowers could be very useful. The puppy. You've got a happy birthday puppy from Annie Floss, and the puppy's got another one inside. Oh, wow, Mabel and Johnny. Do you ever have anybody in your family where you weren't actually related, but you grew up calling them aunt and uncle anyway, and their kids called your parents aunt and uncle? That was Mabel and John. This copyright American greeting cards. Oh, this one was never... It's signed on the back, not on the inside. But it says with sympathy, but those are beautiful. And the flowers are actually, like all the little curl over parts are all embossed. So you get all of that. And the offer is at $5, which is less than $1 a card for these wonderful old vintage ones you can use for any kind of decoupage or junk journaling. They're just, I thought these were like some of the better ones of the images that I found that you could use. And no, not guard lot, card. So we have those. And let me see what's in here. That one's for me. Now, I have two crafters things, a fairy book, really cool kids book, and then the rest of that china. We're going to do these first. These are postcards. Now, I'll give you the number for them, but they're $5 each. These are usually pretty well sought after. So I'm going to go for you guys first, give you guys first crack at them before I go doubling that amount and putting them on eBay. Because yes, I had every intention of putting some of these up for $10 a piece on eBay. So, not 5. We're going to do these at 4 each. Let me write down the states here. Nebraska, Kentucky, Idaho, Laguna Beach, which is California, okay. So, we're going to start with me coughing. Yeah, onion paper is hard to find. I actually still have some sheets of onion paper from my friend Leslie's great-grandfather. And I had used it to just wrap something in that I sent years ago. And they were just, they did special art projects and recreations of, for like movies and televisions of period pieces that had to be in a close-up shot. So it's so hard to find the old onion paper that she said, it's great. I love the stuff that I got from you, but you had this really rare paper. She even said what kind of lot number it would have been. And she offered me $4, $4 or $5 a sheet for this. I had a stack this high. So I was nice. And come on, get in there. So I told her, well, look, it won't be $4 a sheet. We'll work on that. But if you buy 50 sheets of it, then how about we do it for $1 a sheet? So she did. And I think that'll keep me for a while. I don't, but she would do whatever she did. She lived in New York, and that's what her specialty was recreating handwritten letters and stuff. And so she collected old paper. I'm like, not something I ever would have thought of, but yes, so I'm aware of the onion paper can be hard to find. So each of these postcards is going to be $4. And the first one is Nebraska. Now this one is a little newer than the others. It's got a nice glossy finish. Greetings from Nebraska, the corn husker state. And there's a lot of farming going on in Nebraska. You've got corn and you've got cows, pigs, you have the Indians and a horse, little birds tweeting there. Now the back of it, this did come out of one of those old photo albums from the 70s where they already had those straight lines of glue to hold it in. But of course, that stuff never lasted, but it did discolor the back a bit. Fun cards by Gad from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Does not have a date on it. So that is $4, number 11 for the Nebraska one. Now that's the newer one. All these others are older. Some of them much older. So there's one here for Kentucky, which has some great images around it. It's a linen card, but the map picture it shows for Kentucky has all these little black dots and all these little towns. They're probably all the bigger towns because there's Jackson, Corbin, Somerset, Columbia, Greenville, Hickman, Fulton, Clover Point. What's that one? Bardstown, Fort Knox, Louisville. I didn't know Fort Knox and Louisville were that close to each other. But this is a linen card. Part of the CT General Kentucky series. This is KE10. Top row shows of the images, the Lincoln National Memorial, Federal Hill, my old Kentucky home, Bardstown, State Capital, Frankfort. Bottom row, Mammoth Cave. That's a story in itself, being in that cave. Good night, Jen. High Bridge over Kentucky River. I saw that too when I was there. Man of War and two typical Kentuckians. Oh, so Man of War is the horse. I only see one typical, what they call a typical Kentuckian there. I don't know who the other one's supposed to be. There's only one guy in that picture. But this is a linen card. Back is nice and clean. It's divided back. It's never been used. And is $4 and is number, come on, separate here. This one is number 14. That's number 14. You know that's older if they got Man of War on there. That's for sure. Now this next one is also a linen card. And it's the same kind of thing. I'm looking for a date. Natural color postcard made by EC Crop Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This one is for Idaho. I do like the skier at the top. Now this one, instead of being real photographs, is all artist images. But I think they did a nice job with the skier. So in the back, it says Beauty Bay. Oh, I get it. It's telling you what each letter image is. So the I is Beauty Bay on Lake Coeur d'Alene. D is Picturesque Cabinet Gorge. A is Shoshone Falls. H is Sun Valley Lodge and Challenger Inn. And O is Canadian Wild Geese at Challenger Inn, Sun Valley. Again, nice linen card. Linen is, for those of you that may not know, is when you can see these little lines crisscrossing on the paper. Those are lines of linen to help keep the paper strong and also help it absorb the colors, so the colors are always nice and bright. So that one is $4 and is number 71 for Idaho. Now we have another one for Laguna Beach. This is again, same time period in that it's a linen card. Court Tech Company. Greetings from Laguna Beach. And each image, each letter has different imaging in it. Laguna Beach is the home of famous American artists, playwrights, painters, musicians, writers, and moving picture actors. They don't call them movies at that point. It's still early on. The beaches, cliffs, and lovely hills are a scene to remember. No date on it, but it is a linen card. It's in great shape. Never been used. That one is number 35 for Laguna Beach. These are fun things, though, too. I mean, I always like these. I think these look great framed. For years, I had a Pennsylvania one that was an old linen card, and it had been framed. Now, this one has July 24th, 1949 postmark on the back. This one was posted to somebody in Ashland, PA. Off to a good start. Got your card and will try to fulfill some of your wishes. Didn't see any exciting cards yet. Had very nice trip here. Everyone most helpful so far. What a place New York is. What a place New York is. I would never want to live here. So he's saying how great it is, but I don't want to live here. That's a riot. This was sent from New York, New York, so he must be talking about the city. So you can see it does have the little handwritten message, and it does have a stamp on it, has a 1-cent stamp, but it is the other flip side of it is in fantastic shape and great artist images of the different buildings that were the skyline of New York City at the time. Greetings from New York. Fantastic lithographed coloring. And that one is $4 and is number 13. But the back of it just takes the cake. You know, he's telling you how wonderful it is, but I wouldn't want to live here. Now, this last one is a poem card about a particular state. So this one, I've been there. It has on the back, it's a divided back, does not have the box. I forget what some things didn't have the box that said put stamp here. Depended on the maker, but also helps you date things. It says the Natural Bridge of Virginia is located in Rockburg County, a few miles west of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Gives the length, the height, the feet, the thickness of the walls. Granted from George III on July 5th, 1774 to Thomas Jefferson, 157 acres, which included the bridge on Cedar Creek, which flows under it. I never knew that. I never knew that was owned by Jefferson. So I'm guessing the house at the top is Jefferson's house. The bridge is the picture on the bottom, but it has the poem in Old Virginia on it. And the coloring is brand new looking. That's the beauty of old lithograph on linen. It just keeps its color. So it's a great one, especially if you have somebody who, you know, loves the state of Virginia. You've got that wonderful poem in Old Virginia. So this one is also $4. $4, number 74. So that is your little number here. That is our vintage postcards. And the pillows are shifting on me. I keep twisting and then the pillows aren't attached. So come here, you. I don't want to say it too loud, but have you noticed the absence of something four-legged and furry? I don't know where they're all hiding, but they're not bothering me. I mean, if you were here for last week's live, you saw what happened. And then last night when I was trying to pack stuff, I just could not get a break. Last night I had 3 different cats come pester me. I could not get away from them. Oh my goodness. Okay, I have a first edition book from 1908. Progressive reading. It is from the Silver Burdett and Company. Look at this cover. If you like having, you know, books to sit on your shelves where you can actually like have the cover to enjoy the art, I don't know if this is actually an MI or part of the grass, because these embossed covers sometimes would have, hello, Gigi, I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm in the southeast corner of Pennsylvania. If you saw, oh, what was that show with Mayor of something? Oh, now I can't think of her name. They filmed that just a few towns over from me. Mayor of Eastham. I was still working at the Wawa where they were filming. Some of the crew would come in and get their coffee and get hoagies for lunch. But we have this Progressive Road to Reading, book 3. Now it does have some damage on the back, and it's very worn along the spine, or along the boards are worn on the corners, along the edges. There's fuzzy there. This has somebody from Upper Darby had written their name in it, and it's copyright 1909. I was off by one, but it does have a stamp, property of the Board of Public Education of the First School District. It's very faint. It's getting faint. It's kind of hard to read. Oh, you're in North Carolina. Oh, I haven't been there in decades. Family trip, 2 weeks in a car. So it has all of these great short stories in them. I've read this. I thought it was really cool. The Owl and the Pussycat is the typical one, but I was surprised that like it has Romulus and Remus, It has the Bag of Winds. It has Loki and the dwarves. So it has some of the Greek mythology stories. It has some of, I mean, Loki is Norse. So, oh, my name is Nancy, dear. My name is Nancy. So it's got these great pen and inks images in there. There's not a huge amount of them, but there are some pretty cool ones. When they talk about the fall of Troy, there's an image for the Trojan horse. But I mean, it is a nice one that you could make into a junk journal if you wanted to, but it also is this really cool cover. So this book is going to be $4. $4, number 53. We're gonna tuck that number in there. Sit you there. What number did I use for the old Virginian card? I forgot to write the number down. Okay. So, Gigi, welcome. I think this is your first time here. I have a video if you want to know why there's such like Warehouse 13 behind me here. I do have a video on my page that explains how I got all this stuff and have this overstuffed house, because I've inherited a lot. And when I ended up hurting my spine and couldn't stay working where I was working, I had to give up the storage unit. So it's just about all of it is in the house. So hello, Grace. So I keep working on it, have live sales every other week, and you never know whether it's going to be craft stuff. Last time I had some fabric because my mother was a seamstress. My great-grandmother also had her own seamstress shop during the Great Depression. My grandmother was a crafter. I've done craft stuff. So there's tons of that. But my mother's seamstress specialty was costumes and period clothing. So there's some of that around. There's just all kinds of goodies. And sometimes, you never know what I'm going to find. I have the last thing tonight will be the one set of child dishes where I actually have the saucer, the little dessert plate, and oh yeah, you get it. Well, thank you for subbing to me. Thank you. I have stuff here that it would be from my great-grandparents, who I didn't know them. My sister can just remember. My sister is 14 years older. She and the oldest brother could just remember our great-grandfather. They do remember Nana. They were both gone long before I came along in the 60s. But I grew up knowing 5 of their 9 kids, including their oldest, who was born in 1900. So, and my mom inherited the house. So yeah, so there's stuff here that when I open a box, I'm not sure which estate it's going to be from at this point. And sometimes I find stuff that are from my great-grandparents' house. You never know. You never know. So I have 3 cross-stitch booklets tonight that I went through a box of stuff and I saw these, and there were a couple others, and I'm like, well, I'm keeping the one to make fairies. And there was another one to make what they call red stitch embroidery. So, because that's a thing, to just do the embroidery it's single line to make the image, and you do it in red. So I held on to that one. That one was missing a cover anyway. So I held on to that one because that one was all transfers. But these cross stitch ones, at some point I probably thought I was going to do one of them. Or maybe I did do one of them, because I know I did one of the ones in the Christmas one here. So, but I just turned 59 the end of October, I am not going to get to all these craft things that I had to do. Not going to happen. So unless it's a design I really love and really want to do at some point, then I'm parting with a lot of the others right now. So we have a Stony Creek collection, and it's Thoughts of Wisdom. Now this this has a couple of them in it, and we all know the price of these things has gotten insane. One of the things I looked at when a couple months ago when I stopped at a Joann Fabrics and like couldn't believe how little fabric there was. So and like these are like $15, $16 now. I was like, are you kidding me? Why? So this one has the kindest word in all the world is the unkind word unsaid. So that's a cute one. Home is where you hang your heart. I personally like the being different. One duck is different, but it says being different is my specialty, and that's the ducks. And a little shoe there. But each one has this nice little saying. There's one for contentment, which is a little girl. I don't remember. I don't think I ever did any of these. So I've never used it, or it's one I inherited. It could be one I inherited. Because my one great aunt did a lot of embroidery and stitching. So Thoughts of Wisdom is going to be $5. And it is all counted cross stitch. All the charts are in there. And it's number 73. Now, this one I did do stuff out of. This is Christmas Carols. This one, I mean, there's the one for O Come All Ye Faithful. This is a Leisure Arts one. And I like the nice part about this one is that it's not a black and white chart. It's a color chart, which now it still gives you all of what the colors need to be here, but I really liked that it had the colors there. That was so nice and helpful. Has a little town of Bethlehem, O come all ye faithful, joy to the world. Then it always has like the first verse. Has hark the herald angels sing, silent night. But the only one I ever did, so I did this one. I did hark the herald angels sing. And I did it a little different. They have like a goldish coloring for there's a line that goes around that's the around that frames the picture. I'm trying to get it so my camera catches it, but there's a little line here. I did all that in a gold metallic, and I did the bells had some of the gold metallic in it as well as the yellow and gold colors they use. And I did the same thing for the stars that are here and here. And then I did this whole little swag thing I did in the gold metallic, so it would stand out a little more. As I did that one as a gift for someone. And that's the only one I did out of it. So, but you could see the pictures. They're really beautiful. And really a nice thing you can do for, you know, for your own enjoyment to have hanging up at Christmas time. Or the nice part about cross stitch is you can always make it into a pillow. You can hang it up. I have known one person I knew once. I couldn't believe she did it because to me, that's like too many seed beads. she would take cross stitch patterns and she'd do them with seed beads and make this whole beaded thing, and made a lot of money for them when she would sell them. But that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work to find the seed beads to do that in, and we're incredibly far more expensive to do these as seed beads than it is to do them as cross stitch. But they are really beautiful images. You know, I mean, that one's Come All Ye Faithful. That one I thought was really nice. And the Joy to the World. Can you see that one? How the house is up on the hill and the lyrics are coming down the road, the driveway, the snow-covered driveway. I like that one too. I thought that one was really pretty. So this one is $5 and is number 34 for the Christmas carols in cross stitch. That back there. I have to be careful how much I twist here. Now this one will be less because this is just a little pamphlet type. There's very few pages to this. It's on a country shelf. And this one, and there's some little smudge there, probably from me spilling my tea. There's a little mark there. I've done at least half of these at some point or other. Our kitchen is seasoned with love. And when they say the size on these, they do it by the count. So like this says 40 by 40. So that's by the amount of counts there are on your. Now that also depends on what kind of fabric. Now this is from 1993. Now I did, this is Sleeping Kitty Cat. You see the kitty? But if you look at the quilt is the cat quilt pattern. I had done that one. I had done Our Kitchen is Seasoned with Love, which is this one. They are pretty basic colors. There's not a huge amount of shading. So these are really easy to do. And all these ones across here, all these ones that are on the top there, you see how they show this one on a towel? That's what I did them all. I did them all on towels like that and then sold them at craft fairs. So I had done that, but there's no notes and there's no damage inside. So country shelf. This one's going to be $3. Pen, don't go away. This one's going to be $3 and is number 79. $3 and number 79. I have to be careful how I twist like that. Do I want to part with this one or not? I don't think I'm ready to part with this one. For those of you who've I didn't even look it up yet. I collect fairies, so I don't know that I'm ready to part with this one yet. Maybe I will. So this has some stunning illustrations in it. It is the nice part that I thought was, this is from 1990, but it says the cast of characters, and it gives the names of everyone who posed for the artist who did all the artwork in the book. So the Fairy Queen is someone named Sandy Siggins, and the Leprechaun is Abraham Elias. It was printed in the U.S., but Bob Patillo is the artist. And even right from the very front, and it does have my name in there. But look at this cover. Look at all this. This is fantastic artwork. And then on the back, you've got the night fairies and the little mouse, and there's your leprechaun and a glowworm. And I'm trying to purge my shelves, but this is like the elf and the dormouse. Isn't it adorable? It's just fabulous. And they're all just these nice short little poems. And then he frames up the pages. And then you get the one big page with, you know, this great big picture on it. And then now let's see. Here's the one of the fairies. Now there's the fairy queen. And some little elves there with her. Fairies are charming folk, if all the tales be true, and I believe them every one, and doubtless you do too. They live in a land enchanted with their dear little queen, bewitching in her loveliness and dress of silvery sheen. And so it goes on about the, you know, they frolic half the night having their party and dancing, and so there's a lot of full page ads, and then this one has these are the moonbeam elves that help snuff out the stars as dawn comes, which I'd never heard that one before. That was pretty cool. The one about the leprechaun. The artwork is so detailed yet fun. It reminds me of Hildebrandt, Greg, and there were two brothers, Greg Hildebrandt. I can't remember the other brother's name. And they did a lot of gorgeous artwork in the 80s for different book covers. Here's the one about the grasshopper. So other than having my name written in the front, it's in really fantastic shape. It's got no dings. It's very carefully been read to the kids, but they were never allowed to hold it. I'm very protective of my fairy books. So it's in great shape. The Fairyland Storybook is $5. And it's, get its card here, and it's number 86 for the Fairyland Storybook. $5, number 86. Yeah, it's just such stunning artwork, and I've had it forever. You know, I got it brand new when it came out. That point, I was still working at Walden Books, but I'm trying to make space, not just in everything here, but also on my own shelves, some of my own collections. All right, the last thing of the night is another little partial set of children's teacups and saucers. Now, the cool part of this is that this is almost a full set. There's 3 cups, 3 saucers for the cups. There's also 3 little dessert plates. And these are also made in Japan. So this is a 3-set complete, more or less, of cup, saucer, plate. And the more fun part of these is they're also iridescent. So we have the plates. They all have made in Japan on the back. They have a transfer, which is all the thin little black lines. And then the flowers and the leaves are hand painted. And so, of course, the transfers are in varying states of niceness. But it is that darker blue, which when you start learning about the iridescent wear, colors you find can tell you the age. These would be 1930s. So you have that darker blue iridescent, and it does it, and it just kind of, the light gives it that reddish, purplish reflection. They went to a lighter blue and an orange later, and then there's also a very rarely seen lighter green. But this periwinkle blue color is the early stuff. This is the stuff from the 1930s, maybe even the late 20s. So that's the actual little dessert saucers, right? So then you have, these are the saucers. See, they're smaller. Same little rose, same blue, periwinkle blue. But these all have the same kind of frame, but the little rose inside. Now, this particular one, the blue smudged over because they're white on the back and all have made in Japan. There's a little another smudge on this one. This one is good. It doesn't have a smudge. But they all have the frame and a single rose. But these are the saucers for these. I have 3 little cups that match, and that's the matching. They've got a smaller version of that same frame, but the same size rose as the rose that's actually, I think the one on the cup looks slightly bigger than the one that's here. And these are in good shape. There's no cracks. There's no chips. The handles are all intact. I'm not seeing a lot of wear, because sometimes there's a lot of wear on the handles because, you know, little kids picking them up like that. But all that nice dark iridescence is still there. And there's no real wear to these, which makes me wonder if this set ever saw being played with much. But that's a really lovely little set in that you have your saucer to go with your little cup, and then you actually have the little plate, which would have been for your little cookies and things. So you've got nice little, all 3 there is the set, which you just, if you find them at all, you find the cup and the saucer. You don't find the plates. So this is, you know, it's rare to have that much of it. So as I said, there's 3 altogether. That coloring would be late 20s, early 30s for that periwinkle blue. These were made in Japan. So you get all of that. It's $7 for all of those. And it's number 78 for all of those. And that was the last thing I had tonight. So we'll do a little bit of try to do a little speed round here. The speed round won't be in exactly the same order. I have a box lid over here, which is holding a lot of the little breakables. There weren't many to this time. So the other breakables were, come here, you. This is not the right set for that number. Where's yours? Oh yeah. So this one, there's dog cart pulling an older man on the cups and on the plates. One plate has a fair amount of wear on the circle and on the, where's his face? And the man doesn't have a face. And then the other one has a flaw right there. So the dog and cart set of 3 saucers and the 2 cups was just $3, number 65, because I really think these are more of a clay as opposed to a porcelain. Where'd it go? We have the little stamp holder, which is Giftco Incorporated, has its original foil sticker, holds rolls of stamp. Yes, you still can get rolled stamps, even though they're now basically stickers. You can still get them. You have to ask for them at the counter at the post office, or you can order them at USPS.gov, which anymore, if I want to get fun stamps, you know, of all the different ones they release, I get them from the website because the post office I go to usually has run out of them. So the little stamp holder was $3 and was number 31. Oh, there it is. That was number 31. We have, where are you? On my list. I know you're here. So, nope, can't have this one. Marilyn got that one. So that goes with that one, because that sold too. Okay, so we had them. We had this wonderful lot of vintage cards that could be used for crafting. That was, where'd you go? We had done it as an offer up, so it didn't have a number. So we started at $5, which, I mean, there's more cards than that. That's, let's see, that's maybe, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just under 50 cents a card. And a lot of them are embossed too. So we'll have to give it a number. So that would be $5 for them, number 55. If you're watching this on the replay. So we've got a number for that. Now I still had, okay, so I still have the postcards. These are $4 each of the different states. Now, number 11 is Nebraska. Kentucky, number 14. Now, the Kentucky one is a linen card. All these other ones are linen. I have Idaho for $5. $4? $5. $4. Getting the numbers all mixed up here. Number 35 is Laguna Beach. Come on, come on, come on. New York City, New York is number 13 for $4. And the Old Virginian, the poem card, separate you two. This is also a linen card, and it has what possibly Monticello, but it has the bridge, and it has the poem An Old Virginia, in Old Virginia. This was also $4 and was number 74. Tuck you back in there. All right. Where else did I tuck things that didn't? Tutankhamun sold. That's on that side. We had just done. Oi, come here. We had just done these and the reading book there. So let's sit you there so I can get to. Ah, ha, ha. Pause for a moment. Those of you who've been here before, you know what I just did. So one of the reasons that this overstuffed house became my full-time job, for those of you who are new, is because I had an accident and I twisted when I fell and I pinched 2 nerves in my spine. It took that was 2021. I spent a couple of months being bent over at a right angle walking with a walker. I couldn't straighten up. So if I twist certain ways, I still get cramps. I can twist to the right, to the left. I cannot twist that same way to the right, or you'll hear me either curse or scream, because the nerve on this side is still between the vertebrae. The one on this side, traction therapy, which gave me 2 hernias, took care of that, and it took forever to heal, but it healed from the damage. But if I twist too far, I run the risk of it starts rubbing up against that vertebrae, and then it starts causing like little twinges in the muscles. I don't like twinges. There is no fun in having the equivalent of a Charlie horse, but in the thigh muscle, like the top of your leg, there's no way to stretch that and stop it when it hits. It's not fun. Let's just say that. It's not fun. Okay, so we've got 2 news weeks. They were $3 each. This one is August 1957, was $3, number 28. The other one is February 25th, 1957, also $3, number 40. I think this was the one with the really cool car ads in it. There is a little Ladybird book. This is number 51. Now, this was $5. This is in excellent, excellent condition and is a small overview in Scotland. We had little golden books. They have Ladybird books. We have a jewelry box kit. This is number 26 and was $4. Now, this has the box, but you're going to need new decoupage glue. You're going to need new paint for the box. It has the felt, a thing to sand it with, pair of scissors, which you probably would rather want to use sharper scissors, because those look like kids' safety scissors. And it does have the scrap sheets printed in Germany or where? Reproductions from the Archives collection, printed in 1992 in England. But they folded them in half, so you're going to have to carefully press these to get that fold out. And then this has all the wheelbarrows of flowers to go around the outside edge of the box, and it has the hands that you can use on the top of the box. But you're going to need your own paint for the box and your own decoupage glue because they're dried out. But this was, where'd it go? $4, number 26 for the kit, which is a good deal considering that those scrap pieces, if you can even find them, they're usually they're usually about $8 a sheet. Deborah Tucker, hello. Oh, you want the Scotland book? That was number 51. Did you want that one? Okay, hang on to that one for you. And was that the last of it? Yes, because I think we just ran through everything King Tut had sold to Warren, the Newsweek. Oh, wait, where's Cruella DeVille here? She's down here. Okay, so the top of the box is fine. I had opened it up through the bottom. So this is from the Mystery Box Villains series for Disney. I was hoping for one of these two. That's not who I got. So I held on to her for a little while because this was something Mike had shoved into a stocking a couple years ago. But I'm not a fan of Cruella de Vil. I like there's even little tails on the back of the coat. So I offered her up. She's the last thing of what needed to still be shown. Where is she? Cruella, where'd you go? She is $5 and she's number 10. $5, number 10. For Disney villains. You know, most of them look kind of like the character until you get to Hades. That is not Hades. The colors are all wrong. I don't know who that's supposed to be. If that's supposed to be Hades, that's not Hades. I mean, it's got the hair, it's got the eyebrows, but that's only when he was angry. The rest of the time, I think he was blue. So Cruella was $5 and was number 10. So Cruella de Vil. Now I had a song stuck in my head. God, I used to play that so much because we had the 48 record. So Cruella de Vil is the one from 101 Dalmatians. She's the one that wants all the puppies, because she wants to make a Dalmatian coat. Yeah, I didn't like her at all. What kid would? She wants to do bad things to puppies. What kid would like her? So, so that's the quick run through, going through everything. So I hope you enjoyed it. Deborah, do I have your? I think I do still. I need to check in my. I realized I didn't put my. I didn't. Usually I have my Gmail, my email opened up for. I should have you. Oh, this laptop. Da, 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 da. Oh, wow, there it is. It is so painfully slow. I have to start the thing now about half an hour ahead of time so that it does everything it's going to do to wake itself up. But I will be getting a newer laptop. The friends who I go out to their little mini farm so that their animals can get used to me before I go to because in the spring they're going to go on a cruise for 2 weeks, so they're trying to get their dogs and their horses used to me so that I'll go out and stay there for 2 weeks. I'll be doing my lives from out there. Some of the stuff that I sell is from Aunt June that I'll be selling off for my cousin. That's actually where those Newsweeks came from, and the Tutankhamun thing. Those were from Aunt June's estate. So I'll be selling some stuff from there that are all from that estate because my cousin has plenty in her basement still to go through. Because yes, that was another pack rat house. They like to keep lots of stuff, and they had lived all over the world, so there was really awesome stuff. So I am usually live on Thursday nights. I usually start at 10, though watch, occasionally I will start at 11, because right before me is Sugar Britch's Sweet Ass Stuff, and that's Lorianne and Gino, and she usually starts her sale at 8 and sometimes goes to 10:30, sometimes 11, usually around 10:30. So we kind of overlap. She wasn't on it that night when I first started my channel. And sometimes I try to do a live work with me if I have a weekend free, which I have not had in a while. We are, this weekend, we have to set the tree lot up for Boy Scouts. I will not be at that. There's nothing I can lift. there's nothing I can do to help at this point. Because they have to pound stakes in for putting up the fencing, and then they've got to build the shed. They've got to check all the gear, sharpen all the saws, all that fun stuff. I am not. I can't deal with any of that. Let the parents help them with that. I have their kids the rest of the year. So, but when tree delivery comes, I'll have to be at that. I won't be lifting any trees anymore, but the trees all come bound in string. And once they're stood up on the stands, we have to get that string off. So I'll just go around and cut the strings with my knife, get the tall part off. I'll take the youngest ones with me and have them help. Because some of them are too short. They're not going to be able to reach the top of the trees to get the string off. So if I just cut it and get the top off for them, then I can go, all right, get all this stuff off of it, and I'll go on to the next tree. So, because those trees, we get 700 trees in an hour and a half, depending on how many people we get. Because last year we put a call out to some of the older scouts and parents to come help us with the tree, because most of our kids were 11 to 13 years old and on the short side. So we put a call out for help on tree delivery day. But honestly, we have to get them out and get them up, because as soon as people see those trees, they're trying to come in and shop right away. So usually within an hour and a half, 2 hours at most, we have 700 trees off the truck. We started drilling holes in them to start filling the stands, because as soon as people see those trees show up, they show up to start buying them from us. And it is our one fundraiser for the entire year for our scout troop. It's one of the reasons we actually can do a trip a month. It's also one of the reasons why we can let our kids pick what summer camp they want to go to the following year. The type of trees, blue spruce is one of them. They're supposed to be getting 3 different types of pine tree this year. And I had a hard enough time telling 2 different types apart. Now you're adding a third one? So other than the blue spruce, I don't remember what they are. I don't know what that third one is. I haven't been at that meeting. So yeah, it's a lot. 700 trees is a lot. And we sold out in 2 weeks last year. 2 weeks, literally 14 days, done. We had 2 trees left over. We donated one to the church, like we always do, to the church that lets us use their ground for the tree lot. And then we found somewhere else to donate the other one to. They had 2 trees left, so they shut down the lot and donated the trees. One year we had 7 trees left, and somebody made a call to somewhere in Chester, and they came with a pickup truck and picked them all up. And they were going to they knew what families in that organization, they knew what families needed it, didn't have a tree, weren't going to have a tree. And they had stands in the truck with them, and they took them Christmas trees. And that was 4 days before Christmas that year. And because it used to sometimes, depending on weather, it could go longer. But last year was kind of warm, and we only had one night with rain, and we didn't have any snow. So the trees went quick. But if you get rain and then it freezes and the weather's crappy, it can take us longer. But it was so cool that year, because they just came right. They said, we will be there. And they showed up, and they already had the stands, and they were going to go surprise 7 families that were on the list for something of having like gifts for the kids donated to them. And they were going to get to surprise their lives because they were getting a tree. And I thought that was very cool. So, so I have that coming up. So that'll be keeping me busy the next 2 weekends. Well, this one, not so much, because I'm not going to be there for tomorrow for the setup. But then the trees, when they come, I'll have to be there for that. And of course, Thanksgiving is next week. Thanksgiving is next week. And I've got 2 different meetings I have to do next week. Yeah, it's busy time of year. So, yeah, my lives are Thursday nights. I usually start at 10. If I can on weekends, I do. I want to get back to doing work with me's. And there's usually also I want to get back into a steady habit of. I did find your information. I got you, Deborah. I got you. I want to get back to getting videos for you guys. I don't do Goodwill shopping that much, and I know those get you a lot of views. And I greatly appreciate all of you who actually let the advertisements run, because that is how YouTubers that have over 1,000 subscribers. That's how we make money from YouTube. And even though it takes a while, they don't do a payout until you reach $100. So they it's only the ad revenue that gets us that. And I know when I can shop in a Goodwill where they don't have the music blaring, then those tend to get me a lot more views. But I want to try to get more unboxings going where we sort through a box together, so you can see just what it's like, especially when I open up a box and I go, books. And I start looking, and they're all from the 1800s. Which doesn't necessarily mean they're worth anything, but I can guarantee you that that's a box of mine. I used to collect a lot of those and read a lot of those, and yeah. And I had a friend that was a book dealer, so yeah, and I was like, yeah, time to pass these on. So you never know. We never know what we're going to find. But I do like to shop because there's a lot of you that like vintage glass and vintage porcelain. And I don't always find all of that here. A lot of that is already gone. And unless I find something that tucked in a box of books like there were from that one entire estate's worth of books that I inherited. So I like to do the shopping videos because it's fun to do the hunt for things. So, and look how well that turned out. That little devil boy that I sold, on eBay, that made $50, which helped refill the coffers and then got spent on a sick cat. But so that helped with things. So, but if you ever want to search for all my other stuff, just do a search for Thisoverstuffedhouse as all one word. And that should come up with the YouTube, eBay, Etsy, Instagram. I can't remember if my TikTok is actually under Thisoverstuffedhouse or if it's under my name, but I don't really post much there. I just have a bunch of news outlet things that I tend to watch on that. And of course, cat videos. So you can usually find all my platforms if you just do a Google search for all of that. And I'm just keep doing what I'm doing and try as much as I can to just keep going and keep your fingers crossed for me and say a prayer that I hear from Lie Heap soon, because we put every dime we had on getting the roof fixed so it would stop leaking from the 3rd floor to the 1st floor. And so that kind of emptied the coffers. And so we didn't do what we usually do, because I take care of a disabled brother. He lives here. He came with the house. It's in the will. And then my nephew moved back in, the one I raised, the one I call my son. So he's here and he helps out where he can, but it's my house. So, but I put every dime on getting that roof repaired so it would stop messing up the electric and messing up walls and causing havoc. So we didn't fill the oil tank in the summer when the price was cheaper. So now we're just hanging in there a little while longer. So I will. Do I have running around to do tomorrow, or can I pack all day tomorrow? Other than grocery shopping tomorrow, I don't think I have to leave the house for anything else. So I should be able to get stuff packed and start getting people invoiced. I know I have a backlog. I am working on that and I'm done well. We went from 8 pages down to 4. That's plus. Because various illnesses and emergencies here, and I got overwhelmed. There's stuff that you don't get warned about when you take on being a reseller. I'm in better shape for that now. But we'll get there, and I'll try to get more invoices out over the weekend. Since I'm not going to be going to the tree lot, I want to try to get as much done tomorrow and Saturday as I can, because I know Sunday's going to be busy. Tuesday's a meeting. Wednesday is scout night. Thursday's Thanksgiving. Saturday is tree delivery. Yeah. Busy, 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 busy. So, since I usually alternate chats, I honestly don't know if I'm going to be live Thanksgiving night or not. For a chat. I'm still not sure where we're gonna be for Thanksgiving. So I'm not sure what's going on for that yet. So there may not be a live Thanksgiving night. But keep in mind that the December 5th, that first Thursday in December, will be the next live sale, and it will be all vintage Christmas. It will be all Christmas stuff. Isn't. Oh, okay. Oh, well, keep him in my prayers, Gigi. So I'll keep him in my prayers. And I appreciate prayers for us, for Gary, because he's got one kidney at 50%, and he has an ileostomy bag, so he's from his Crohn's disease, so he's not a candidate for dialysis. So that's, I don't know what they're going to do with that. He hasn't got far enough for them to really say, and then when he gets upset, he doesn't like what they say, he won't tell me. And he has yet to give me power of attorney over health care, because if anything incapacitates him, then what? You didn't give me any way to make decisions for you if you're not conscious. So he's 8 years older than I am and passive aggressive to an art form. But, he's my brother. What can I do? Because what are you going to do? You can't bury him in the backyard. The dog will keep digging him up. We're stuck with men. So, on that note, I wish you all well this weekend. Stay warm, stay dry. A few areas like New Jersey and is it Blue Mountain or Elk Mountain? But one of the ski resorts here in the Poconos is still on fire, and there's a forest fire in New Jersey now too. So it's not just the West Coast having trouble with these things this year. So hopefully everybody can stay safe, stay warm, stay dry. And I will definitely see you on the 5th for the Christmas sale. You will definitely be seeing a video sometime between now and then. I'm not going to let you go 2 weeks without me. Oh, yeah, it can be always something. And it's very hard to lose your kid. There's, like in Hamilton, it's the unimaginable. There's not a word for it other than it's the unimaginable. So I will try to make sure that there's videos up, maybe even a drop sale, possibly. We'll see. It depends. Just because we're wrapping stuff up, because in December we don't meet at Scouts. We don't have Scout meetings per se normally because the kids are selling Christmas trees. But we're trying to do a mini merit badge session for the nights in December, for those who need certain merit badges to give them a little kickstart. So we're still trying to plan all that out, which is why I'm just like running into a lot of meetings and trying to meet up with kids and talk to the kids or talk to the parents before we have that 1 month break. So I'm just kind of like busy all over the place with other things right now, as well as the holiday. And so have a pleasant weekend, and I will definitely see you December 5th. Maybe Thanksgiving night. I can't promise that, but there definitely will be videos up between now and then. So have a good night, everybody, and let's all have a pleasant tomorrow. I think we could all use one. Okay? And by all means, like, subscribe, and you can always, if you want to find out more about me, you can always check out my other videos. All right? Good night, everybody.